The Self-Issue Permits program allows certified carriers to issue their own single-trip over-dimension permits without prior analysis by ODOT staff. This video covers how to add road restrictions to a self-issued permit. A separate video is available that covers the need for road restrictions on permits. The restriction examples shown were active at the time this video was made. There are two parts to adding appropriate road restrictions to a permit. The first is to determine which restrictions need to be added, if any. As mentioned in a separate video, the restriction list can be very long in the summer due to many construction and maintenance projects. The restriction list is for all state highways, and some of the restrictions do not apply to loads allowed in the self-issue permits program. At this time, we do not have a way for motor carriers to filter the publicly available restriction list. Let's look at a couple of examples. The first example is a width restriction. The restriction heading includes the highway name, mile point range, direction of travel, and approximate geographic location. The effective date is just that, the date that the restriction is in place. If your permit expires before the restriction starts, there is no need to add it. The details of the restriction are next. In this example, we are looking at an 11-foot width restriction between the hours of 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. The estimated date of completion is just that, the date that the restriction is estimated to be lifted. Work can be delayed due to weather or other unforeseen circumstances. Even if your permit is effective after the estimated date of completion, it must be added to the permit if it applies. In this example, if the load is more than 11 feet wide and traveling this part of I-5 northbound, the restriction must be included. This will tell the driver when they can and cannot use that section of I-5 northbound. The second example is a ramp closure. Similar to the width restriction, the restriction heading includes the specific ramp that is closed and the approximate geographic location. The effective date is just that, the date that the restriction is in place. If your permit expires before the restriction starts, there is no need to add it. The details of the ramp closure are next, including the specific times that the ramp is closed. In this case, the closure times are different on different nights of the week. The estimated date of completion is just that, the date that the restriction is estimated to be lifted. Work can be delayed due to weather or other unforeseen circumstances. Even if your permit is effective after the estimated date of completion, it must be added if the permit applies. In this example, if the load is routed to use this ramp, the restriction must be included. This will tell the driver when they can and cannot use that ramp. The second part of adding a road restriction to a permit is pretty simple. Simply copy and paste the information from the restriction list to the road restrictions field in the application. As you can see, the width restriction and ramp closure examples are pasted into the appropriate screen. Multiple restrictions can be added if needed. If no restrictions need to be added, indicate this by typing "No additional road restrictions required for this route at these dimensions." Whatever text you add here will be added to the special provisions of the permit. In summary, adding the appropriate road restrictions to a self-issued permit may be a challenge, but it is a requirement to participate in the program.